T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1.
Now, what do you think if like we talked about this a little bit, but to everybody watching, if you have a college coach that you might be a fan of, like Dabo Sweeney, what is that, Clemson, out of Clemson, and I think the University of Virginia coach as well, come out and maybe said something that was, we'll say, anti the movement that's happening right now, as far as with police brutality and police reform. But now they're coming out and saying, I apologize, or now I see it in a different way. What do you think about that as a whole?
I think it stems back to what I said in our segment last week. You know, it's the character. Character change does not happen overnight. However, you know, you should definitely, you know, take heed to that. You know, that trickles down through the locker room. You know, these are young men who, you know, we see folks like Jake Fromm, who we mentioned last week. I wonder what that mean if his head coach had said that. You know, how would that affect his change, his character going in? You know, being a mature young adult going into the league. So, you know, you alter a lot of personalities, a lot of different psyches when it's coming from your head coach. You know, who is a leader off the field.
Hold on. That's a good point, though, dog, because I'll be wondering that, bro. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm at a conflict with being a Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboy. You know, I feel like I'm a descendant, brother. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean?
Birthed into this Cowboy Nation. Now, you know, Jerry ain't empathetic towards no count of the plight.
Right.
But I have mixed feelings about it, you know, because part of me be feeling like, man, I shouldn't even support it. You know, I shouldn't even support the Cowboys. But I was born into this Cowboy thing, man. I got to be real about it.
Hey, I tell you what,
tough, man.
I know somebody right here who said the same thing. And she said, female, for the time being, she will not support the Cowboys because of the actions of Jerry Jones. And I feel like, again, this trickles down the organization. You remember when they started kneeling, and Jerry said, no, nobody kneeling. And in fact, I'm going to come out there and make sure nobody kneel. We can all stand and lock arms, but nobody kneeling. And even Dak, you know, Dak supported Jerry in that. Dak caught a lot of issues with that. And then also, post kneeling, you know, Jerry was very verbal about it. And now he hasn't said anything. And neither have none of the Cowboy, you know, teammates, the players. Not one player has spoken out about it. So
Gerald McCoy, except for Gerald McCoy, but he just got here.
He just got there, so he's not even embedded in the. He don't even know what the culture like. You know?
Nah, he really don't. Yeah.
It's very
so yeah, I feel conflicted, dog. Yeah, I don't know what to do sometimes, man. I just ride with it because I even feel like the way he treats. Like for Dak not to be able to speak out. You know, we can get into that whole situation. Like, what do you think as far as about how Dak, I want to ask you that. How do you think Dak plays the game? Because he played the game with the kneeling, you know, and said he's going to approach it a different way. He put his money where his mouth is. I'm not defending him. I just want to put it out there. Because I was feeling some type of way when he took the backseat approach a couple years ago after Jerry came out and said what he said. I was like, I think he should put his out there, but whatever. So he played the game, and then now he's at a point where, like I said, he's putting his money up for the cause, and then he also played the game on his contract, which we can get into. But how do you think about him playing the game, Dak? How he plays the game?
I think he is talent-wise deserving of everything he got coming to him. You know, he's been there. He's been a leader above all. He's been a leader. He's been available. He's been healthy. I think that he's a part of an organization in which Jerry likes to be involved in more in everything. And it shows in his coaching staff.
Right.
It shows in the players. You know, he picks a coach who, you know, he can oversee, you know, real quick. So really, it's like Jerry's a head coach, a GM, quarterback coach. You know, he's kind of everything Dallas. And I think that sometimes it's kind of obvious. It kind of gets in the way of the goal, which is winning. And it overshadows a coach. Because, like, for example, if Mike McCarthy comes out and wins, you know, 12 games, it's going to get accredited to Jerry Jones. Or if Jason Garrett would have did that, it would have got accredited to Jerry Jones. You know, Dak and everything that he accomplishes, if he comes out and balls this year, it's going to get accredited to Jerry Jones and them getting CeeDee Lamb and all the moves they made in the offseason. It's not going to get accredited to Dak and his talent. You know what I mean? And that's only an issue. That's only a situation you see in Dallas, to be completely honest, you know.
So would you say he's kind of playing Jerry's game the best he can? Like he's not even playing his own game. He's really playing Jerry's game.
I feel like initially he was, because he was a 4th-round pick. Nobody really knew much about him. He came out. He went to 2 Pro Bowls. Went to the playoffs, got his feet wet. Now that he has a resume behind his name on the field, I feel like he can get a little test the waters a little bit, which is what we saw him not signing that contract. Until it really came down to, hey, you're going to sign this contract or you're going to sit out the year, because the budgets are in, all the quarterbacks are selected. Even Cam Newton doesn't have a job right now. So it was either you're going to sit this season out or you're going to sign this contract. However, I feel like if it's a season that you're going to sit out, it might be this one, because it's not a normal season. You know, we're not going to have fans.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of changes. So, you know, teach his own.
Now, you know, I've been said this is controversial, but I've been said I'll take Rain Dakota Prescott over Cameron Newton any day. You know what I'm saying?
You have.
That's controversial.
Yes. That is very controversial. And as of now, I will stand firm and agree with that now. But back then, I think you were saying that his rookie season, Dak didn't have a resume. So now that he has a little resume on him, I can, and given the age difference, I can understand that. I can understand it.
Yeah, I respect that. On the side note, I thought Vince Young was one of the best as far as black quarterbacks that I saw in college in the past probably 20 years. I watched Cam at Auburn in Florida. I thought he was just like I don't know. I couldn't explain. We can get into that later. But how you feel about Dak's contract, though? 31 mil deals.
Hey, you cannot turn down 31 of them things. I'm not turning down 15 of them things. So financially, I get it. However, this is going to come back, because you know Watson is about to get paid. We know Mahomes is about to break the bank. So the price tag is only going to go up. So I think this season is you got to make the playoffs. You got to make the tournament.
You talking about them boys?
You got to.
But we finna, bruh.
You got to.
I think with Mike McCartney, man. I watched that 2016 playoff game again. Bruh, I don't want to get too excited about Mike McCarthy. But I am excited about Mike McCarthy. I think it's gonna change life in Dallas, dog. You know, to be honest with you.
I can see that. What I'm looking at is you really didn't address the issues of last year. Your offense wasn't the issue. You know, I feel like the defense was hung out the job. Let's be honest, the defense was out there. He had 5,000 yards passing. You tell me that all the time. He did. So giving him another receiver.
Yeah, folks are changing. Let me switch gears on you, Chris, because I want to talk about them Eagles while it's on my mind. Now, your coach came out and said that he would consider giving Kaepernick a tryout. You think that's lip service? And then on top of that, Jalen Hurts and the way that y'all are looking at quarterbacks right now, what you think about that?
I think that they want to use him as Tyson Hill, similar to Tyson Hill with the Saints. I honestly disagree with that because let's be honest, the Saints not winning Super Bowls using that. They got just as many rings as we got. You know, so it's not like they changing the game by having a secondary quarterback that they use as a receiver and all these things. I think best case scenario, you draft him, with our second overall pick, you coach him up, get him some exposure, and then you trade him later on for a first round pick. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he sit behind Wentz. He's not ready to play NFL football. I don't think he has the accuracy yet. And I don't see him challenging Wentz's role at all. You know, if Wentz is healthy, he's our guy. We paid him. He's the man. We married to him.
But is that? Do you think there is a lot of confidence around Carson Wentz in the Philadelphia Eagles organization? Like, do you think that everybody has confidence in him? Or do you think it could be split?
No, I think coming out of that 2017 season where we had, Foles in there was a verbal split. There was, half of the players, Alshon Jeffrey, vibed with Foles better because he catered to their game. Wentz still getting his feet wet, he had to take a step back. And then you have Foles in the locker room. Now we got Foles out of there. We doubled down. We paid Wentz. We made our decision. And just look at last year. We had to finish off 4-0 against the division with backups.
Mm-hmm.
And all we had was Wentz and Miles Sanders, who was a rookie. Everybody else was, backups, third string, practice squad players. And he drug us into the playoffs. I mean, we didn't do nothing. We wasn't supposed to against a good Seahawks team. But for us to go through the division with just our quarterback and a rookie running back, I mean, we still had Zach Ertz, but from the receiving standpoint, we had, people working at Best Buy, working in Circuit City.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he did what he had to do. And that earned him a lot of stripes in the locker room.
I respect it.
So I'm going to be honest, and we'll just start with like brutal honesty. I thought that I was going to poop, and then I, instead of pooping, had a baby. So my husband came in and was like, I think you're just pooping. I don't think you're having a baby. And then he left and came back and caught my son like right before he fell in the toilet. And that was it. And he said we can never have any more kids because he's scarred for life. So I'm done with 2, I guess. Yeah.